Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is the man in the black mask, and he's back with a story to read and share with y'all and his political views and opinions on it. You know, it focuses on this teen suspect who was slashed twice at Rikers Island in a revenge attack. Okay, yeah, teen murder suspect slashed twice out of revenge at Rikers Island. I want to show you the thing too. Before I read it, I want to show it to you. Okay, if it's still here. You know, the slash on the arm thing. Because he got like a big gash on his arm. I don't think they're going to show it here. Anyway, okay, let me start reading, okay? A teen charged with a deadly stabbing outside of a Brooklyn 7-Eleven has been slashed twice at Rikers Island by a rival out for revenge. And incompetent jail staff are to blame, according to legal papers obtained by the Daily News. David Lopez, 19, is accused of plunging a knife into the neck and chest of Rohan Burke, 17, in May 2019. Burke's cousin, who is also being held at Rikers, has slashed Lopez in retaliation on two separate occasions, leaving him with deep wounds to his head, neck, and back, requiring dozens of stitches. Notice of claim charge. During the second slashing, Lopez pleaded with corrections officers to sound an alarm. The guard, identified in papers as Correction Officer White, allegedly replied, "That's your problem." No, fuck you, CO, that's your problem, because what if that man gets killed under your watch? Then that's a lawsuit up the ass. Fucking idiot. All she did was watch the continuous stabbing and slashing. The legal document reads. Had that been my kid, I'd be ready to sue. Okay? Let me tell you something. If my kid was ever locked up on Rikers Island, or my grandkid, I would contact the jail to make sure that his ass is, or that his or her ass is protected. Okay? To make sure that nothing happens to them while they're in pretrial detention. Now, just because they're in jail don't mean you abuse them, whether they did something or not. Remember, they're being accused of a crime. They're not convicted. They're being accused. So treat them as such. Anyway, Lopez seeks $5 million total from the city in the notices, which are filed in anticipation of a lawsuit. He could have been killed that day, and they did nothing about it. His lawyer, Pamela Ross, said, "He's not safe there. He's in fear of his life." The Corrections Officers Benevolent Association said that White has not been disciplined in connection with the incident. Nothing could better illustrate the ongoing hypocrisy corrections officers face more than a frivolous inmate lawsuit that falsely claims a correction officer didn't intervene in a violent inmate-on-inmate attack. The COBRA president, Benny Boscio, said, "The only reason more inmates haven't been seriously hurt is because our officers who bravely put themselves in between warring inmates every day and literally help save their lives. Yet, no matter what we do, we are second guessed for using too much force." Easy for you to say, motherfucker. Details of the gruesome attacks emerged 1 week after Department of Correction Commissioner Cynthia Brand said she will retire at the end of the month. 1 day after Brand's announcement, a court-appointed federal monitor slammed DLC leadership for a pervasive level of disorder and chaos and inability to reduce violence despite overstaffing. The court-appointed monitor, Steve Martin, not the actor, dedicated portions of his 342-page report to the Robert and Davern complex, where Lopez is being held. The facility, with a recent average daily population of 627 people, houses most 18-year-olds and a large amount of young adults in DLC custody. The monitor cited a level of disorder and lack of safety at RNDC. Factors contributing to the chaos include unstable leadership, sparse disciplinary options, lack of consistency in staff assignments to housing units, and inadequate supervision of staff. Lopez, who is 5'6", 140 pounds, says he experienced RNDC's violence on December 22nd while on a phone call with his girlfriend. Sorry to hear. He was slashed across the face and arm with a scalpel. Medical information shared with the news shows. He needed 30 stitches on his cheek and 43 staples to seal a wound on his arm, 6 millimeters deep. Wow. You believe that? Legal papers identify Jeffrey Rose, Lopez's alleged victim's cousin, as a slasher. Rose, 20, was moved to a different wing of RNDC after the incident, according to Raw. He was then moved back to Lopez's wing after unrelated threats on his life. Oh my God, the Raw said. Lopez's pleas to staff that he was in danger were ignored, Raw said. While there, Rose stabbed Lopez 11 times in the back, once in the neck and another time in the head, according to documents. That's when Lopez alleges correction officer White looked on and ignored his plea. David is screaming out, hit the alarm, help me, and she just stood there, Ross said. Rose was transferred to Downstate Correctional Facility last week to serve a 3-year sentence for attempted robbery and gun possession. His attorney did not respond to requests for comment. The city law department declined to comment on notices of claim. Yeah, it tells you right there it's a pending case, and they're not dumb enough to open their mouth about it. You know? They got to protect what's there. I mean, really. I mean, let me tell you something about Rikers, okay? But I'll tell you in a few seconds. But first, I got to try to show you this image. You know? I'm going to try to get it. I want to show it to you. Okay, get this. Yeah. I got to show it to you, so I'm trying to get this thing to pop up. Let me get this fucking thing. You want the slash on the arm. Yeah, I think I found it. Okay, look. This is what I was talking about. That big scratch on his arm that I tried to show you earlier. But for some reason the ad wouldn't pop up. But I got it now. You see that? It looks like a shark bit off half his arm. But even though he got stabbed in it. But I wouldn't wish this upon nobody, okay? Now, when I hear stories of Rikers Island, right? I think about Khalif Browder. All the shit that he went through when he was locked up on Rikers Island. And that ultimately led to his suicide 2 years after he was released. Now, I'm sure a lot of you is worried sick about what could happen to this dude that just got his arm cut up for no reason. You know? Yeah. David Lopez. Now, he might have been accused of killing somebody, but at the same time, he deserved to be protected. He should have been in and stayed in protective custody. And now they still got him in general population, knowing that he could be dead any second. Now, those of you that know David, this David guy, pray for him, David Lopez. Please pray for David Lopez. Pray that nothing happens to him when he's locked up on Rikers Island. Because they already got him in general population when he shouldn't be there. He's had multiple attempts on his life, and these fucking asshole COs won't do nothing to save him, or help him, or protect him. Make sure that he gets proper treatment. They only care once an inmate dies. Sometimes even when an inmate dies in custody, they still don't give a fuck. Which is why they need to shut down Rikers. You see, Bill de Blasio put it to where you don't ever want to go back to Rikers Island if you've ever been there before. See, you being locked up under Giuliani or Bloomberg is a totally different story, but you definitely don't want to get locked up under de Blasio. Even though he's supposed to get out of office later this month, but still. You know? Like I said, they need to shut down Rikers Island. And more security measures need to be put into place to ensure the safety of the vulnerable, particularly those at risk, people suffering from mental health and addiction issues, and those not convicted, alleged to have committed serious crimes serious enough to keep them away from general population. They should never be housed in general population in the first place. That's why they built, segregated housing for at-risk inmates. Now, David Lopez is among the at-risk inmates, and they still got him at general population. So, yeah, I would like to see more protection being offered to at-risk inmates. Okay? Khalif Browder should have received that while he was locked up at Rikers, which if he did, he'd still be alive. You know, he would not have been abused to the point where he had to hang himself from outside his mom's window. You see, I knew people that had been to Rikers, and the stories I heard was not good. I even trained with a dude that got his face cut open while he was at Rikers Island, whose name I will not mention. But you know what I'm saying? He had his face cut up really good, man. And I told this guy when I was in training, you should be lucky he didn't stab you in the eye. Because most inmates will do that shit. Most inmates will kill you. They won't just fuck you up, but they'll kill you. So that's why you don't ever want to go to jail or prison, because any fucking thing can happen in there, either to you or in front of you. You don't want either or to happen. One's just as bad as the other. Now I pray that David Lopez gets out of this at some point, and that he gets the help that he needs and the protection that he needs, because he's going to need it for as long as he's locked up at Rikers. As long as he's at Rikers and general population rather than Daverine complex, he will not be safe. There's always somebody out there that's waiting to kill him at the right time, because he's pleading for help and nobody's helping him. No fucking body. And that needs to stop. And I heard about something that happened in Hollis, where this reputed gang member was shot for the third time in like 16 years. You know, I don't know how many gang members he pissed off enough to want to kill him, but I gotta admit though, that's fucked up, man. I gotta admit, man, it's very fucked up. Okay? So pray for David Lopez. Okay? Please say a prayer for him. I know I am. He's alleged to have committed a murder. Remember, alleged. When you say somebody committed a crime, make sure you use alleged, unless that person's been convicted. Allegedly. Which also means presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Think about that. Every detained inmate has a right to due process. And that right is being taken away from Mr. Lopez. Why am I saying that? Because he's allowed to be abused at Rikers. Okay? In fact, he's going through worse than Cleve Browder. He's getting stabbed up all over the place for no fucking reason. And another thing, you see, if you have ever done something to somebody, right? And if you get locked up at Rikers or anywhere, whether it's the Tombs or, Sing Sing, whatever, you never know who they're going to house you with. Because that person that they house you with might know the person. Wait, how can I say this? The person that you locked up with might be associated with the person that you victimized and may be out for revenge, may try to fuck you up or kill you. So yeah, you ought to think about that. Think about the next person that they put you in a room with the minute you do something to somebody. So yeah, keep that in mind. I think about that a lot, man. I'm thinking, what if I did something to somebody and they put me in the same room to the bastard that I might have did something to? The bastard that knows the person that I fucked up or killed or whatever. Yeah, I'd be worried. I'd be very worried. I mean, what if this person kills me? What if he sends somebody else to do it if he can't do it himself? Exactly. Because that person that might be associated with your victim could be a gang member too. Hell, you definitely don't want to find out. Because nearly every jail and prison has some form of gang and drug activity up in it, okay? And even worse, the COs run much of the gangs, if not all. There's Gladiator School, there's the Beat Up Squad, all that. And if the problem ain't the inmates, it's definitely the guards. Especially when it comes to the Beat Up Squad. I bet you they did that shit to Cleve Browder a few times, brought the Beat Up Squad. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if he was victimized by the Beat Up Squad, run by the guards. They target certain inmates that they feel is a threat to them for the Beat Up Squad. Cuff you, take you someplace, fuck you up, break your head, break your face, you name it. Because I know people that have been to jail and prison, and a lot of those stories are not good. They're always bad. There's never nothing good about being in jail or prison, so stay out. If you've been there before, don't go back, okay? Listen to the man in the black mask. Don't go back to jail. Don't go back to prison, because you too could be the next victim that nobody gives a fuck about. So anyway, thank you for listening to the man in the black mask. And don't forget to like and subscribe. and drop a question underneath the screen and tell me what you think about all this. Okay? Check out my other videos too about Rikers Island, because those are the stories that I love the most. I love to talk about stories like that because of the people that I know that have been to Rikers and saw some shit down there. Okay? So think of me as the Chris Cuomo of YouTube, because he reads stories and he voices his political views just like I do, the man in the black mask. You know what I'm saying? I love telling stories and I love sharing stories. That's what inspired me to be a YouTuber in the first place. So if you like what you see, like and subscribe at your own risk. If you got a question, want to comment, whatever, you know what to do. Give your testimony underneath my window. Okay? So until then, good luck, be well, and have a good day. Thank you for your service. Thank you for supporting the man in the black mask. He thanks you for his support. And he thanks you for your support.